Greetings, dear viewers. It is I, Drehon, and welcome back to another Dungeons & Dragons character conversion video. Today, we'll be taking a look at a book series that I've read halfway. I'm very knowledgeable in the Percy Jackson series, though the only books I've read were up to Battle of the Labyrinth. I was kind of bored with it. The movie was pretty good, though. Oh no, those 5 books were a pretty good series. If it were able to keep my attention. What's that? There's a sequel series. Heroes of Olympus. Huh. Well, unlike some fans, I'm not going to ignore half of the series. That would be stupid. As always, I will be taking into account everything in the Percy Jackson canon, including this sequel series. I'm not going to read it, but I am going to take into account some of the defining events from this sequel series. We're going to start off, as always, with the point-buy system. For strength, we're going to start off with a 12. Yes, Percy is a demigod, so he has the demigod strength. However, he doesn't realize his potential until later in the series. So, we are going to start off with a 12. Dexterity and Constitution are going to be 14. Intelligence is going to be a 10. It is said in the wiki that he has ADHD and dyslexia, which does kind of hinder him in some areas. However, when it comes to Greek, he is very knowledgeable. So it's kind of an if. It's kind of iffy. So we'll just keep him basic in intelligence with a 10. His wisdom is going to be our lowest stat at an 8. He wasn't that great in the first book. He was just your typical nerd. Again, the dyslexia and his ADHD kind of hindered him a little bit. So we're going to put that in his wisdom. His charisma is going to be a 14. He's not a bad-looking guy, if the movie has any credits here, which it kind of does. Again, it's part of the canon. But he isn't ugly. So we're going to have his charisma be a 14, plus one of the classes kind of needs a high charisma. Now for the race, there is no demigod race. Typically, I would go with an Osama for such a person. However, the closest fitting race for Percy is the water Genasi, because Poseidon. The closest thing to Dungeons & Dragons to getting Poseidon's powers is to go with the Genasi. So, more or less, your father is either a water djinn or a water elemental. For kicks, let's say it's a Leviathan. But the Water Genasi's ability score gets a +2 to Constitution and +1 to Wisdom. Your speed is 30, both on the land, and you also get a 30-foot swim speed, which is pretty good. You have acid resistance for whatever reason. You're also amphibious, and you have Call to the Wave. This will give us the Shape Water spell, as well as Create and Destroy Water. That's why you could be a master of the bathroom. That's a reference to the book if you don't get it. Languages is common and primordial. This is also referring back to his weird dyslexia. He struggles a little bit in English, however, his ability to read Greek is astounding. So Primordial seems to be the best fit. With these ability score increases, we now have a 16 in our Constitution and a 9 in our Wisdom. Alright, background, the only one that really, truly fit was Folk Hero. He has skills in animal handling and survival. He also has proficiency in smith's tools and land vehicles, which seems fair in my mind. Now, the defining event, they really didn't have a defining event in the Folk Hero that fit, so I just made one up. And this is perfect for Percy. You also get the feature of rustic hospitality. Now, his class. We are going to go with Fighter to start with. You get a 1d10 for your hit die, and your starting hit points is going to be 10 plus your Constitution modifier, which thankfully we get a +3, so we have a nice solid 13. Our Percy's not going to die so easily. At higher levels, you'll get a 1d10 plus your Constitution modifier per fighter level added onto your hit points. Your proficiencies, you get all armor and shields, you get simple weapons and martial weapons. Saving throws are going to be strength and constitution. And for skills, grab history and perception. Now you also get a fighting style. Now you could go with one of two different options for Percy. You could either go with the archery fighting style, or you can go with dueling. For simplicity, we're just going to go with dueling. You also get the feature known as Second Wind. Once we get a increase, we're going to get a level increase. Go with Sorcerer. You get a 1d6 for your hit die. Extra hit points is going to be a 1d6 plus Constitution modifier per Sorcerer level. Your spellcasting is going to be Charisma. Hence why we did a 14 for our Charisma. Now for your origin, I would have gone with the Unearthed Arcana's Sea Sorcerer. However, the Genasi already takes away half of the things we get from the Sea Sorcerer. So I went with the next best thing, the Storm Sorcerer. Because according to, what did the wiki say? It was one of the books in the Heroes of Olympus series, and I believe also in the Titan's Curse. I think. He had some control over the weather, as well as being able to produce lightning. So it seems plausible to go with Storm Sorcerer, more than it would be the Sea Sorcerer. Level 2 Fighter gets Action Surge, while Level 2 Sorcerer will get the Fount of Magic, which will give us our sorcery points. Once we get to a Level 3 Fighter, grab Battle Master. For your maneuvers, it will be Parry and Trip Attack. Your save DC is with Dexterity. You also have Student of War. You'll get a tool proficiency for Cartographer's tools. This makes sense for Percy, in my opinion. Level 3 sorcerers get Meta Magic. Grab Empowered Spell and Quicken Spell. Now, this will be our next to last level in Fighter. We're not going to grab that many levels in Fighter because Sorcerer is, well, you're going to need to be able to have the spell create weather or control weather, just so you get more Percy-like spells. But for our 4th level fighter, go ahead and grab your ability score increase into strength. That way he has a little bit more strength on him. Now, we're going to grab another level in Sorcerer. When we do, you can either grab the ability score increase, and if you do, grab it in Charisma. Put all of it in Charisma. That way you have 16 Charisma. Wow, that was a lot of Charisma. Take a shot for every time I say Charisma. No, I'm joking, don't do that. For the feat, if you want to grab a feat, grab Warcaster, because it makes the most sense for Percy. Next, we're going to skip right on ahead to level 6 Sorcerer to end off this video. We're going to have Heart of the Storm, thanks to Storm Sorcerer. Now for our equipment. For magic items, I would recommend grabbing the winged boots, because you actually have those in the books. Staff of the Magi seems to be a fitting artifact, a fitting magic item for Percy. And so is the artifact known as Wave. While in the books, Wave was his sword, here it is a trident. Honestly, I don't see much of a problem with this. I would also recommend getting a trident or a sword of warning, because that would be extremely useful, especially if you're about to go into battle with a Medusa. Well, I think that's going to have to end it there. I've been trying to cut down on my videos, and me talking does not help. So, until next time, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.